Hi everyone, it's Charlie, and I want to welcome you to Charlie's 80s Attic. Now you're probably wondering, what is Charlie's 80s Attic? Well, we are a brand new 80s radio station that plays the big hits of the decade, plus the deeper 80s hits, the forgotten favorites, the hidden gems and lost treasures of the decade. Now, we play all the great music of the 80s, from the peak and premiere years of the 80s, from the early 80s up until around the time Tiffany and Debbie Gibson and Milli Vanilli kind of took over the charts. We kind of stopped there. And as you listen to the station, you'll realize why. You'll realize that we are playing the real peak and premiere years and the greatest music from the decade. Now, there's really something for everyone here in Charlie's 80s Attic. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to play the big hits. You're going to hear Madonna and Phil Collins and John Mellencamp and those big iconic artists of the decade. But you're also going to hear, other than those big pop artists, you're going to hear punk, you're going to hear lots of new wave, you're going to hear rock, you're going to hear some metal, you're going to hear some smooth yacht rock type music from the 80s, some R&B, some dance music. So we really put everything here in one station. You're not going to have to go to satellite radio or other streaming radio stations for rock, for new wave, for top 40. We kind of put it all under one umbrella here in Charlie's 80s Attic. And we want to give you the best 80s experience possible. Now, we want to make you feel like you did back in 1981, 82, 83, when you put on video music channels or turned on your FM radio and you heard all those great songs, or new wave radio, some of them more obscure that were heavy in video music rotation, but not so much on the radio. You're going to hear those songs. And I'm telling you, folks, as I was digging through the old records and cassettes to put this station together, some certain titles sounded familiar, and as I played them, I remembered all the words to the song. So I think we're going to bring you lots of music that maybe you haven't even thought about, but you're going to hear the song and say, I remember that video, or I remember hearing that song on the radio. And we're going to bring back lots of memories for you here in Charlie's 80s Attic. Now, my biggest pet peeve growing up in the 80s, and even in today's radio world, is hearing the same songs, 30, 40, 50 songs played all day in heavy rotation. Now, of course, you want to hear the iconic songs of the 80s. You want to hear Mickey and 8675309, or I Ran by a Flock of Seagulls. There's only so much you can take of that. You don't want to hear it 5 times in an 8-hour span. So here in Charlie's 80s Attic, we have such a deep library that you can listen all day at work, or while you're doing housework, or out in the yard at home, or wherever you go, and you're not going to hear the same songs played over and over and over in an 8 or 10-hour span. Yes, you might hear the same artist played every couple of hours, but it's going to be totally different songs, and we're going to mix that in with, again, some of the deeper hits, some of the forgotten favorites, the lost treasures, the hidden gems of the 80s that you really miss hearing, that really give you that true 80s experience. Now, that's the whole key to the station. I want to give you the greatest 80s experience possible without having you flip to all different channels to get a piece of this, a piece of that, a piece of this type of music. You're going to get it all here in our lovely attic. Now, I'm going to be your host here on the station. A lifelong dream to do something like this. My trusty 80s robot Kilroy, we're not going to mess his name up, will be here with me, maybe taking over when I get called down to dinner here from the attic, or need to have a lunch break or something. But we're also going to have a couple of friends and guest DJs come in, true professionals. You're going to love them as well. Again, we're here to give you the greatest 80s experience possible. So all I can say to you folks is take off that members only jacket, hang it up, kick back in the beanbag chair, grab a Tab Cola, maybe a pack of Pop Rocks, but don't mix the two together. You know what can happen there. And just enjoy the memories and enjoy the trip down memory lane here in Charlie's 80s Attic, your new home for deeper 80s music. I really want to thank you for stopping by, and I look forward to making Charlie's 80s Attic your permanent home for 80s music. Thanks so much for stopping by, everybody.